Hey, what's up guys? I interviewed one of my mentors, his name is Tatch, and he actually escaped from Vietnam at the age of 5, came to the US as a refugee, and fast forward to today, he's built a real estate portfolio that generates over $100,000 per month in passive income. So that was very fascinating to me because recently I sold my Amazon business and I want to be able to reinvest some of the cash, and obviously real estate was one of the fields that I want to deploy money in, but I didn't know how to do it properly. So I got in touch with Tatch, and man, this guy is full of energy. He has so much experience, but not only in business, but in life in general. And needless to say, even though we just met for a very short period of time, he has such a profound impact on my life. So for those that are interested in real estate and passive income, or just learn about life and business in general, I really think you guys are gonna enjoy this episode. So sit back, relax, and watch this interview with Tatch, who's built over $100,000 a month in passive income in real estate. What's going on? Today we have a very special guest. We got Tatch in the house. How's it going, man?
What up, everybody? What up?
All right, so usually you guys know that I mostly have e-commerce guys. Tatch, like I think we've done 18 episodes of this podcast so far. I think you're the only guy so far that is not e-commerce related because you come from a totally different world, but we got connected through a mutual friend here in Vancouver. You're in Seattle. And I mean, after the first call, like just hearing your story and hearing this, I was like, man, I got to get this guy on the podcast and share his story. So Tatch, just to give you kind of like a very quick overview, like me growing up, I've always, if I see a guy with a nice car down the street, I always wanted to go up to them and be like, man, like from that movie called Pursuit of Happiness, Yeah. Will Smith. It's like, man, what do you do and how do you do it?
Right.
You got a lot of nice cars. So I'm going to ask you, what do you do and how do you do it?
Yeah, baby. So, I started, man, in 1991 as a real estate agent. I was 21 years old. I started as a real estate agent. And the first 3-4 years, I didn't do much at all. I was probably only selling 2 or 3 homes per year. And then in 1994, I met a real estate coach, and he taught me how to sell real estate at a more efficient way. And from there, right, I was out there. He taught me how to go out there and find sellers versus buyer. So he said, you want to go find seller, you got to cold call them and door knock them and ask them to want to sell their home, and then just list a lot of houses. Well, to me, I was like, shit, that sounds pretty damn easy. So I was out there door knocking, Tom, like 9 o'clock in the morning. Like right now, I'll be on the street right now, right? At 9 o'clock, I will door knock 100 doors a day, 5 hours. So I go from 9 to like 1 o'clock. 5 hours a day, 5 days a week for 10 straight, looking for someone who wants to sell their home. So during those 10 years, I was making good money. I was 27 years old, became a millionaire already. And I met this other mentor. He was the owner of a John F. Scott office, another franchise in Seattle. And he said to me, hey, man, if you come work with me and you just be a leader like you are and then help other agents in my office, I teach you how to make your money work for you when you're asleep, like the tree growing in the back of your yard. And I was like, what? What does that mean? He said, you make good money selling real estate. Just like anybody else, anybody in e-commerce, everybody out there making good money doing what they do. I call that earned income. But he says, if you don't park your earned income in some kind of passive income, then you have no retirement program for the future. So you're going to have, Warren Buffett said, if you don't find a way to make money when you're asleep, you're going to work until you owe and die.
That's right.
So he said, what you want to do, take the money you make from selling real estate, those millions, let me teach you how to park it in real estate. And so at some point in your life, when the passive income will make as much as your earned income, you have the choice to work or not work.
Right.
And so I said, well, shit, man, I'm all ear. Let's go. So I quit Windermere and I went over there. And man, from that point on, I was out there selling real estate to make my earned income. And then I just been buying rental property since my first rental property I bought was 1997. It was a single family home. I still own it today, free and clear. I bought it for $105,000 with $5,000 down payment back then, and it's worth like $750,000 today. I get 33,000 a month on the house, and I just got hundreds of those property from houses to apartment building, and so today, my goal basically is just to continue to make my earned income. But right now, I have like probably $100,000 a month in passive income after everything's paid off, right?
Wow.
But my goal now till I'm 60, 10 more years, is to pay down even more of my property, so I'd be more free and clear. That I have $200,000 a month in passive income.
Right.
So that's the game I've been playing, man, since 1997, is to keep making money, buying real estate, and at some point you pay them off so you can really enjoy, all the fruit of your labor you've been working for.
Right. So Tatch, speaking of nice cars, what's in the fleet right now?
Well, I got my brand new 2020 matte satin black G-Wagon on 24s. I just got my 2020 Rolls Royce convertible Dawn. Had that customized on 24. I got my brand new Bentley Flying Spur, all customized, also on 22s. And then I just ordered my F8 black with red interior convertible. That's coming here at the end of this year. And I'm going to be ordering the new Rolls Royce Ghost also this year. And that's going to probably take till the end of the year also before it comes.
You got enough room in your garage to park all 5?
I don't, bro.
No, so you got to get rid of a couple. Yeah.
I always been wanting a waterfront house. But it wasn't that important. While I was younger, waterfront house was important for me. But now I love to travel. You know what I mean? I like to make my money. I like to park it in real estate. I like to travel. So we see. I got my brother-in-law. I own a house with him in Mercer Island, and I might put one of my car over there. My mother-in-law also, which I own the house over here in Mercer Island. She lives in. She has 2-car garage, and she only needs one. So I might leave my other car over there. So we'll see.
Perfect. I mean, on the surface level, when someone sees a successful person like that, right? They're like, oh, they must come from a rich family, or their parents must be rich. Tell us, like, what I love about your story, man, is look, the purpose of this podcast is, by the end, if there's one thing that a listener can actually take away from the end of this conversation between you and I, or any of my guests, just one thing.
Yeah.
Is, wow, if they can do it,
that's right,
I can do it as well.
That's right.
Tell us your backstory, man. Like, backtrack before the 1991. Like, where did you come from? How did your family get to where you guys are? Because I think out of everybody, you probably had the most. Your parents probably had the most. Endure through the most amount of hardships.
Oh, for sure, bro, for sure. Well, I was born in Vietnam in 1970. My dad worked for the U.S. military as a translator for the U.S. government. And so in 1975, I was about 5 years old. My dad called home and told Mom, hey, pack your bag. I'm going to come home and get you guys and the family, because the U.S. soldier were pulling out of Vietnam because the communists is taking over South Vietnam now. And so the boss told him, hey, man, you should leave with us on the plane. Otherwise, if you stay here, if they capture you, then they're probably going to kill you because you work for the U.S. government. So my dad was 34. My mom was 29 years old, pregnant with my sister. And I have obviously 4 brothers at the time, right? They all live here now in Seattle. But man, my dad came home and we had one suitcase and $100. And we got into the Jeep and we roll out to the airport, man. We blew 2 tires, bro. 2 tires. By the time my dad fixed the car, we got to the airport. We missed the damn plane, right, to leave.
No.
We got a hold of his boss. The boss says, look, we got one last plane for some of the main military guys. So why don't you fly out with them? So, but make sure you don't miss that one. So we rented a little hotel in Vietnam. My dad slept in the car. He didn't want nobody to steal the Jeep. And man, we stayed there. The next morning, we got into the Jeep. We went to the airport, and it was chaos, bro, at the airport. And we got on the last plane, man. We flew out with the U.S. troops, and we landed in San Diego because they used Camp Pendleton as the place to host all of the refugees that flew into California. We stayed there for about a month or 2. And then Governor Evans from Washington State wanted to help migrate some of the refugee. And so there was another shelter up here in this area called Camp Murray. It was another military camp. And they used those barracks for hosting all the refugees that coming out of California. So we were the first family to land in Washington State. And when we was in the shelter, we were blessed. There was this guy named Charles Zettler who was in his 50s. He was a volunteer. He decided to sponsor our family to come live with him and his mom. And his mom was like in her late 60s, early 70s. And you think about this, bro. They didn't even know us, and he went and sponsored 8 damn people to live with him. That's crazy, right? And one of the things that mom did was every morning when my dad had a job, because my dad didn't have a car, right? She would drive my dad 45 minutes into the heart of Seattle because we live 45 minutes away from Seattle. She'd drop him off at work time, and then she'd drive back home. And then at the evening time, 5 o'clock, she'd drive back into Seattle, bro, pick him up and drive back home every day, bro, for like 7 months, right? And that to me, man, is contribution, dude, at a whole nother level. And later on, we'll talk more about this, but that was one of my reasons why today, my vision today is to inspire and empower billions of people to reach for their goals and dream and see that anything is possible through my own life journey and my own life story. Because Charles Zettler was the gentleman that actually sponsored our family to go and actually give us a leg up. And so today, since my dad passed away, right? Today, my dad gave me the baton right before he passed away, because my dad was a social worker when he passed away, right? And he was helping a lot of refugees. So when he passed away from cancer, he gave me the baton to go out there and help more people. And Charles Zettler was one of the reasons why my vision is what my vision is today.
How old were you when all this happened? You said 5. You were 5. You left Vietnam, so you're around 6 or 7 during this time. The moving from California to to Seattle.
That's right.
So you still 5 to 7 years old. You must still remember glimpse of things.
I do. I remember a certain part, and then of course my mom tell the whole story to us. And so when my mom tell the whole story to us, we were, it makes then we can see it better, right? But I remember, bro, leaving to the airport. You know what I mean? And we got there, man. There was people running all over the place. You know what I mean? I remember playing in Charles Zettler's house because we have a whole bunch of pictures too. You know, who was there? One of these days, I had to post some of those pictures on Instagram so let people see. You know what I mean?
Interesting. So one of the questions, and we'll get into real estate a little bit later, right? Because some people not only do I want to inspire them, I also want to give them the tactical things. Like inspiration is great, but you and I both know, like on Instagram these days, there's so many freaking fakers out there, and you talk about
so many goddamn faker out there.
There are so many fakers out there that don't practice what they preach, but you still do door knocking.
I see 4 days a week, bro, 3-4 hours a day.
You're crazy. You're making $100,000 a month in passive income, but you're still going out there, get the door shut in your face, and you're still doing that.
Hey, I'll tell you what, that's probably one of the hardest things, bro, because, at someone at my level, your ego can really basically put you on a pedestal like, fuck, don't you know who fuck I am? How the fuck you dare you know what I mean? Talk shit to me. I can buy your fucking house 10 times. You know what I mean? But they don't know you. You see what I'm saying? So you gotta actually be humble and knock on the door. Hey, today I still get people that slam the door in my face, bro. Learn how to speak English when you come knock on my door. Click, right? Get off my door, asshole. And you just gotta, put your nose up, man, and just keep going. You know what I mean? Because it just ain't personal, but it's hard to take because your ego can say, why the fuck am I putting myself in this position?
Yeah, I love that. I love that in so many different levels. But now going back, regarding kind of, the question I wanted to ask you, the one thing I wanted to squeeze out of this conversation today was just you're posting so much on Instagram. You got so much. You said you're 50, right? Yeah. You got more energy than me at 29. Every single day I see you just posting Instagram, posting this, posting that. But I guess when your mission is so strong,
that's right,
of all that stuff that happened to you, now everything to me makes sense. the fact that someone else saved you and contributed to you, you're like, I have to do this for everybody else, and you're passing on the baton. I mean, that makes perfect sense to me.
So you see, Tom, now when I say to you, my vision is to inspire and empower beings of people to reach for their goals and dream and see that anything is possible through my own story. So why I still door knock is because number one, I love doing what I do, but also to inspire you, to inspire John, to inspire other people, right? To keep reaching for the goals and dream. And I also share my journey on what I'm buying, what I'm selling, what I'm building, what I own, my lifestyle, right? My inspiration, my motivation, right? I share all that to let people see that I can inspire them. So when I drive my Rolls Royce, it's more to inspire you, whatever you wanted to buy. If it's a Toyota, if it's a Honda, if it's, trading in your old Honda, get a brand new Lexus, it's the same thing. It's just dream big. That's why the license plate says dream big. It's not for me, it's for you guys.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
No, it makes sense. It makes sense. And I love it. And by the way, we'll drop Tatch's Instagram down below so you guys can go check it out. I mean, he posts 100 times a day. So you guys got to be prepared for some content. So Tatch, let's talk about this. Let's talk about actual real estate, some of the tactical stuff, right? And you and I, we had a call before. You essentially implement what's called the BRRRR strategy. So for those people that don't know what a BRRRR strategy is, can you just quickly in 1 minute go over like, how do you make money in real estate with the BRRRR strategy? Yeah.
So basically, BRRRR stands for buy it as a major fixer. R stand for rehab. The other R stand for rent it out after you get it done rehabbing. The other R is once you get it all rented, you refi the property. And if you've done it right, you can get all your initial down payment back out. And then the last R is take your initial down payment and then repeat the process and go do it again. But the BRRRR process is a process to actually own rentals. So there's two ways to own rental. You can buy a house that's already turnkey.
Yep. And that's what most people do, right? That's what most people do. That's like 95% of the population.
99% of the population.
I want to get into real estate. So I'm going to buy a condo in Vancouver. I'm going to buy a house in Vancouver. That's right. I'm going to put a tenant in there and then boom, I'm investing in real estate. But that's not exactly
there's nothing wrong with buying turnkey property, folks. The only disadvantage from experience is that you buy it at market value. There's no equity in the property, meaning you don't have any instant equity you built. So if a property is worth $1 million, then if you put 25% down, your 25% is the equity. So the BRRRR, what I have learned how to do is I buy something. I'm making this up, okay? If a property is worth $500,000, I buy it for $600,000 as a fixer. I put in $100,000 to rehab it. I'm all in for $700,000. So I got a $700,000 property that looks as good and is worth the same as a property that's worth $1 million. So the instant equity is the $300,000. Okay, that's like building a new house, right? You can build a house and you build in equity. So now the difference is traditional, you have no equity. And then BRRRR model, you have instant equity. That's the only difference. So when I was younger, I bought a lot of properties that are already turnkey. But as I live in real estate, not like Tom, I run the contracting team and the building team. I go out there and buy older property and build new so I can build in the equity so I can create my net worth and grow faster. Like that. So
Tatch, you said something I just want to clarify. You said buy a place for 500. So
600,000,
$1 million. So let's say the place is $1 million, but you buy for 500,000. So right. you get the $500,000 spread and you put another $200,000 in and so on and so forth.
That's right. But it has to be a fixer. Okay. That's the whole key.
Right.
Because no one's going to sell you a turnkey property for 500,000 if it's worth $1 million. But if that property is really beat up and it takes 200 grand to rehab it, the person that owned that property is like, hey man, I own this shit forever, right? I'm okay selling for 500,000. I only bought it for 50 grand 30 years ago. So 500,000, hey, put your money in it. Go ahead and make your equity on it. And fine with me. Right. That's the kind of property we like to buy.
So give me, I'm curious to know, man, give me the door knocking pitch. I'm opening up.
Hi, are you Tom?
I am Tom. Yeah.
Hey, Tom. My name is Tatch Win. I am an investor. I actually buy a lot of property in this Vancouver area, And I noticed you own this rental property over on in Richmond at XYZ Street. And hey, man, I wanted to ask if you don't mind, have you had any thoughts of when you might consider selling that? I'd love to buy it from you if you're interested.
Yeah, I've thought about it. I mean, I've had the property for a long time, and I mean, if the price is right, I'm always down for a deal.
That's right? Anything is for sale if the price is right?
That's right.
That's great. How long have you owned that property, that rental?
Ooh, man, passed down from my parents probably like 30 years now. Yeah.
Oh, wow. It's been in the family too, huh?
Yeah.
That's awesome. And had that always been a rental property for your family, or you guys used to live there? What was the deal with that?
Yeah, we used to live there, and then we wanted to get into like a bigger house, right? We got kids and stuff and dogs. So we didn't want to sell the property because we know it's a good investment. So we just decided to put a tenant in there, and now I live somewhere else.
No, that makes sense. So if you were to sell this, would you reinvest that money, or would you just cash out? I mean, I know that the property needs a lot of work though, you know?
Oh man, I don't know. I haven't thought about it that far. No one really asked me to sell the property yet.
Right. So, yeah, I mean, you know, I can see it lean out work. I mean, if you're going to sell it, you think you're going to rehab the whole thing before you sell it? Or you want to just sell it as is?
No, I don't want to put any more money into that, man. That place is, I don't want to rehab the place or renovate. I don't know how to do that. So
yeah, it makes sense. Plus, you know, whoever's going to buy it, they probably want to do their own personal taste to it. You know what I mean? So it's better to sell as is.
Yeah.
Right. What do you think you might consider selling that? I mean, if the price is right, would you consider selling it now?
I mean, yeah, I know my neighbor sold it, like the guy next door sold it for $1 million. You know, that's a lot of money. I bought the place for a lot less than that 20 years ago. So, you know.
Yeah, for sure. Well, here's what I don't mind, Tom, doing. As an investor, I don't really care for the property to be in picture perfect condition. Matter of fact, I like to buy them. I like to rehab, make it look nice. And then typically I like to keep them as rental property. And what I can do is, man, if I have the opportunity, I can set a time up so I can go take a look at the property. And then after I look at it, I can tell realistically what I think that property is worth and what I can pay for the property. And then from there, you can decide what's best for you. How does that sound?
Yeah, sounds good. Let's do it.
Okay. So let me ask you this. I mean, what do you think you would like to get for the property as is, Tom? As is, that's worthwhile for you to even consider even selling the property. Okay, as is. No commission, as is. The renter moves out, whatever need to be fixing, as is. I take it from there. What do you think that'd be worthwhile for you?
Man, I don't know. I mean, my neighbor sold it for $1 million, so I like to.
Was it $1 million that was already remodeled, or was it $1 million in the same condition?
Yeah, it's a nicer house. It's a newer house. I get that, but you know, the land is worth a lot, so somewhere around, you know, closer to the $1 million. Like I don't expect to be $1 million, but because my house is a lot older and a lot, you know, but yeah, maybe $250,000, 750 or something like that. Maybe. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you got somewhere around 750. You move forward to sell property?
Yeah, probably. We'll see. I mean, you called me out of the blue. I wasn't thinking about this morning. So, but like we said, everything, there's a price for everything.
That's right. And timing is everything, right?
That's right.
I'm gonna call you this morning, buddy. So listen, let's set up a time. What's a good time we can go take a look at that property? Well, today at 3:00 or maybe 5 o'clock evening was better for you. What's work good for you?
Yeah. This afternoon works. I'll be home.
All right, great. We go over there. Bam. There we go. That's what I say.
Love it.
So you see, it's
you build a lot of rapport. Yeah. A lot of rapport. A lot of rapport, a lot of like assumptive close, just like pushing. Yeah. I love that. So,
and you see, the whole key is at the end of I never ask the price until I get past rapport.
Right. Yeah.
The problem, every salesperson is like, if the price is right, would you sell it? Why wouldn't anybody say yes? I would say yes too. You know what I mean? Right. So that's my whole thing. So that's why I love calling fixer upper. Usually when I call fixer upper, most of the sellers are older. And the property is basically beat up. And if I call a fixer that is a rental, I have a better chance because a lot of those people are like, fuck, this property is a headache. I just been having a rental just to keep it afloat. They've taken out my hand. Right. That's why it's good to call absentees, owner, fixer.
Right. So let me ask you this. Like you go into different areas, right, in Seattle, and you're very strategic with which areas you go to. Because you know some areas you just like you're not gonna get the money, whatever, right? Well, so these areas that you go knocking on the door, right? These fixer uppers, do you look at the houses that were sold on the block and kind of look at their like benchmark. So let's say in the past 6 months, 5 houses on the block sold for $1 million. So you're very confident that this house can sell for $1 million. Then you just work backwards to say, hey, if I get this house for $500,000, construction cost is going to put $250,000 in. So I'm all in now for whatever. I have $250,000 equity built. That's good enough for me. Is that kind of the mindset?
That's right. Yeah. So instead of saying a block, I usually study an area or a neighborhood. So let's say in your area, let's say Richmond. We use Richmond for example, right? In like residential area. I know in a certain section of Richmond, I've been noticing watching real estate, the home been selling on average for $1 million. That's very nice and remodeled. So what I do is I will go basically in those area and I will go look for all the fixture in those area. Because I know that area is selling on average for $1 million house already nice. So if I can go find beat up property in Richmond that's beat up, and if I can get it for 500, 600,000, put 100, 150, 200,000 into it, I'd be all in about 750. I got a $200,000 spread. And now you can either sell that property or I can just keep it as a rental, but I got it for 250 grand less. Or another way of saying, I got 25% margin on that deal.
And you never.
Now, if I ever go and finance that property, I don't know how your bank works in Canada, but in the States, the bank, if you have 25% down and you buy a turnkey house for $1 million, they want 25% down. But if I buy a property and I rehab it, I got 25% equity, I wouldn't have to put any more money down. They would finance the whole 750 for me with no money out of my pocket.
Right. And you don't find these deals on open market. These are mostly from door knocking, right?
Hell no. It's all from doing research, right? Finding all the fixture anywhere in the United States. Well, I put in the zip code and I can find fixture anywhere. All you got to know what the area has been selling for, right? Now, you never want to go into a really poor area because the house at some point, no matter how much you buy it for, after you have it, you can never make any market. The price point is so low. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So you got to get an area, in my opinion, you got to get an area where the price point is actually relatively good and the rent is relatively good, because if you keep it, you got to have good rent to be able to compensate for that house. Right.
So do you, when you go do one of these single family homes, and that's how you kind of started, right? Do you reno it? You don't demolition, you don't do the demo, right? You just make it like put some lipstick on and make it look nice.
That's right.
Okay.
A lot of my houses, so in order for the BRRRR to work, Tom, the worse it is, the better it is. So you see on my Instagram, the one that me and my 2 boys did recently, right?
Yeah.
Right. That was the first investment deal they did, right? And that one, basically, it was a hoarder house and it's share, right? And what happened when we got in, we took everything out the house, and then we didn't like the way the floor plan was laid out. So we basically gutted the sheetrock and we reframed the house so that the bedrooms and the hallway will flow better. And then we put the sheetrock back on, and then but the foundation and the wall never got moved. Just the inside got moved. And that's how we maximize it.
Got it.
The second thing I like to do is I like to find property where I can add more square footage and bedroom and bathroom, because that's what's going to make my value, my property worth more money. So I usually buy a 2-bedroom, 1 bath. Like in Seattle, we have basement, and the basement is usually unfinished. And I'll finish the basement downstairs, add more bedroom and bath. That is free equity downstairs. But when you buy it here, 2-bedroom, 1 bath fixture, but then the basement is unfinished, you don't pay for that. So then when I buy it, I add bedroom and bathroom and finish the basement. Now that all that square footage help the value of the property jump higher. And that's how I create my spread also.
Love that. So let me ask you this. I mean, I've talked to you about real estate before, and I told you about my situation. I want to invest in real estate and this and that. But I think investments, there's not really a single investment solution that caters to all people, because everybody's different.
That's right.
I can, but right now, I don't think it's a wise decision for me to do what you do, because me knocking on 5 hours of doors every single day takes away from my earned income from my other businesses. and I told you about my financial situation in the past and so on and so forth. You say, hey, just focus on that. Maybe down the road you can do what I do and so on and so forth. But one of the concerns that for someone like me listening to you, I'm sure a lot of my listeners are as well. It's like, man, what the hell is a bedrock? I have no idea. I've never heard of that term before. You talking about reframing a house, put this and that. I don't have construct. I've never, I picked up a hammer once and I crushed my nails and I never picked up a hammer again. So it seems to me that during the construction phase, there's a lot of technicalities, right? That's kind of scary. So if I don't have construction background, I got the money, right? I got the hustle, I got the drive and so on and so forth. And I've also heard, that construction people, if they see you as someone who's not knowledgeable, they will try to cut corners, they will try to screw you, this and that.
Yep.
Talk to me about that. Like, if I want to get in this, I know nothing about construction. I don't want to get screwed over. Yep. Is it just to find a good general contractor who's a referral, maybe a family friend that just hope that he doesn't screw me over, or what's the play here?
Yeah. So I'm gonna talk to you like I'm gonna coach you. Okay. Yeah. A lot of your e-commerce friends will kind of appreciate this. I agree with you. Okay. Right now you're young and your focus now is to bring in that earned income through the front door, because you need the money coming through the front door for two reasons. One, to have money to buy stuff, and two, to have to be bankable to the bank so they can finance for these property to be kept as rental property. Right. So a lot of guys out there flipping houses, and there's a lot of guys out there flipping houses that they don't own in a rental because they don't have good credit. And so even though they might turn in money, they don't have good credit to actually keep in a rental. That's why a lot of guys out there, they talk a lot about flipping, but they never talk about renting and owning. Okay. So for you, Tom, I agree with you 100%, bro, that you don't have the time like me to go out there and research whether fixer upper and cold call the owner. Okay. However, right, this is where we start earlier in this call. There's two ways we can buy property. As long as you're buying, you're doing good. Rental, turnkey, and then fixer upper and fix them up yourself. Okay. Now here's the thing. If there's someone that brings in a lot of money, a lot of my doctor friend in Seattle, right? Ball players, a lot of these guys, they don't have time to go out there. But if they can find any good rental property, they should park their money. Now, for now, Tom, you bring in so much money, who cares right now that you don't buy a fixer and create extra $200,000, but you bring so much money to the front door, as long as you keep parking it, you're going to outproduce a guy that makes a lot of money like you, but don't park it. Because let's be honest, you're going to be paying a lot of taxes. So at least you can shelter your money in the real estate, and you have something 20 years from now where that property will outproduce earned income later. At some point when you get older, you can't produce the same income no more, right? So I would say for you, for now, buy that. Now, I'm going to also add this though for you. You should utilize a lot of real estate agent in your area and in other area. Okay? John, everybody, you tell them, bro, if you find a property that needs some work, let me buy it. Now, when I say a lot of work, hey, it could be a major work or it could be lipstick. Even lipstick, after you get done, you could make 50, 100 grand in it, right? So utilize those networks. I have a lot of agents that bring me deal too, even though I'm a realtor, because they want to sell me deal. So it's okay to buy something already done, Tom, but also utilize all your network and tell them, even you got friends out there, not real estate agent, you tell them, hey, bro, I'm buying real estate now. If you got anybody out there buying and that want to sell some property, especially if the property work, call me. Now you networking. I got so many people on the street, dude, that know I buy. Do that because you got so much network and you're influential, right? Then the last thing is this. Don't be intimidated when you hear all about construction. It's not that serious, okay? People always say, own a rental property. What if the water heater always break? Why the fuck is always got to be a water heater? Why couldn't it be a toilet that break? You know what I mean? But yes, the key about contracting is you got to get a referral from someone who had used that person more than one time. They've done it with them many times. They have consistent track record, just like any real estate agent, right? Right. Once you know that, Tom, and then go look at their work, right? If I was coaching, go look at their work in your area and see, okay? And then what you do is get a lipstick. If you find a lipstick job, test them. But never give them 2 or 3 at one time. Test them on, give them a little bit to do. Let's see how well they pass the test. The next time you ever find out one, they live more than lipstick, test them again. Now you build a rapport. So that person will tell you when you ever get a property that needs a little more work, he'll tell you, Tom, I think that's good. If you take this wall down and you add this wall over here, it makes the property open up. And you go, oh, that makes sense. You're an entrepreneur, bro. You can see all that. See what I mean? So I would say for you, it's okay to go ahead and park your money on house start turnkey, but start telling all your network that you are now buying real estate with your money. And tell them you see anything, you're buying. Because real estate agents love people like you. You know why? They can make money on you.
Right.
They love to have a client like you because you fucking got a lot of money.
Right.
See what I mean?
I can close the deal, not a title.
That's it, bro.
Yeah.
Okay. But for you, I'm going to tell you this to you, and I didn't get a chance to talk to you earlier. I think it's good to do Airbnb. I had a choice to do Airbnb. I just chose not to because in my area, right, I can make the number work. Your area is a little bit tougher. You just got to make sure that the property you buy is in a high demand for Airbnb rental.
Yeah.
One,
Absolutely.
Okay. Number two, you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket for Airbnb. And because it's like, you never want to put anything in one basket. I see the biggest mistake a lot of Airbnb people do. Now, there's a lot of people out there teach Airbnb, and it's very, they don't say it very clearly, so it makes people wonder. There's people out there that teach you how to do Airbnb, but you don't own the property.
Yeah.
You notice that?
Yeah.
And then there's people that teach you how to do Airbnb, they own the property.
Yeah.
There's a difference. You not planning on doing I don't own the property. Because what they do, they go and rent it from somebody, and then they re-rent it, and then do Airbnb and make the money, and then they keep the difference.
Right.
There's no risk there. Worst case, they lose the furniture money.
Right.
Over here, you got to buy the property, and then you get Airbnb. The problem with these people over here, when they know they do Airbnb, they justify I can pay more for this property because I get good money for Airbnb. See the difference? When the Airbnb market dies, they overpay for this property because it wasn't worth that price, but they just, I can get Airbnb money. That's the total problem with this Airbnb game. So just be careful. Sometimes I'd rather see you do a couple Airbnb. If you find a lipstick property, single family, buy it. If I see a duplex, triplex, fourplex, I need a little bit of work, buy those and just rent them regularly. Put a lot of money down because the game here is for you make a little cash flow, but the game is to make a lot of money coming through the front door. Make a little cash flow, but all the money that you make in time is for write-off and for future net worth and appreciation.
Yeah, absolutely. Tatch, I want to be respectful of your time. So I guess we just have like a few more minutes left. Yep. You're a wealth of knowledge, but what I love about you, man, it's, I've talked to a lot of successful people in the recent years. I'm very grateful to have met a lot of very successful people through my networks and so on and so forth. But there's that level of raw and authenticity to you that really just shines, man. Like it just comes from within, and the energy and the power, just even though I'm looking at a cell phone screen, I can feel it. I can feel it. Nice. And like you give no fucks in a good way. Yeah. Right. Like, this is who I am. This is what I stand for. If you like me, follow me. If you don't like me, there's an unfollow button. Please unfollow me.
That's right.
But so I recommend everybody who's listening to this, again, I'll include all of Tatch's social down below, and he's also launching a real estate course, or a revamp. So I'm going to include that down below as well if you guys are interested in learning a little bit more about real estate. But Tatch, within the next 2 minutes, man, what would you what's that one thing? I hate that question. What's the one thing? Because there's so many things. But what do you want to leave with the audience, man? Like someone, let's say someone in their 20s, in their 30s, whatever it might be. They're so hungry. They're just like, man, I got energy. I got desire. I got hope and wish. I want to do more, but man, I don't know what to do, man. What do you tell that person?
This is what I tell all the young people today. One, see, the problem with young people, Tom, is they only see basically one step in front of them. And I speak from experience. Everything I say to you, I speak from experience. They see one step in front of them. I need to make another million, right? I want to get this house. I want to get this car. I want to, you know what I mean? They see one step. The problem is that they working from the present, moving into the future, one step at a time. What I teach all the young people, which I could appreciate it more because someone taught me. If I was coaching you, Tom, we'd be like this, Tom, let's talk about where would you be at by the time you're 50 years old? So right now you're what, in 27, 28? What is it?
29. Yeah.
29. So let's say you're 30, right? So for you now, I'll be like, let's really get clear. Where do you want your lifestyle to look like and be like at the age of 50? Physical life, mental life, spiritual life, career life, family, health, spiritual, everything. Where do you see yourself at the age of 50, right? Net worth, you know what I mean? Your lifestyle, the quality of the style, everything, right? And then work backwards to where you at today. Mm-hmm. And then you built your ship to go towards that 50. I was telling Leon this, and you know who Leon is, and I was telling Stephanie this the other day. I said, look, build me a ship where we can make $2 million a month in commission with our real estate business. Mm-hmm. And you know the real estate business I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. So I said to them, I want a ship that can handle the vibration of $2 million in revenue per month. And I want that ship to only spend no more than $400,000 on Facebook ad and less. Mm-hmm. Let's start with that in mind and build the ship that way versus building the ship from the present into the future. Mm-hmm. And so that's how I think. So I want to all the young people, start with the end in mind, farther out, not 1 year out, but 10 year out, 20 year out, and really get clear on where do you see your life and your quality of life for you, Tom, at the 50 mark. And let's work backward and then build your ship, your lifestyle, your mindset to that 50. And then let's work towards that. Because if you build it from that, there's a lot of things that people would not do because they go, that's not going to lead me to that destination. Why am I bothered even doing it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
Versus the other way around.
Yeah, I mean, having a long-term vision is so important. Like the other day I was on Instagram and I saw like, so Elon Musk, right? Yeah. Back in 2006, he actually wrote an article of like, this is back in 2006.
Right.
Electric car was not a thing.
Right.
But he wrote on Tesla's blog. It's online right now. You can go read it. Right. His plan of like, I'm gonna first create this car, then I'm gonna create this car. It was like the Roadster and then the like the Model S, right. And then I'm gonna create a Model X. And then I'm going to use all that fund to do the Model 3, which is the mass market car.
Yes.
But he already planned out the entire thing. And now he's working backwards. And that's right. That's to me, like, is what a true visionary is. That's visionary is someone who can see the future. But I truly believe that if you just spend a little bit of time to yourself thinking,
that's right,
you can become a visionary of your life as well. Everybody can.
And we already are because we do that all the time in our sleep, right? We do it every day, but we just get caught up because when we look out into the social media world, we want everything now. Mm. Elon Musk didn't even get there in the now. It took him a while. You think about it, right? But it looked like it's fast. You see what I'm saying? It looked like it's fast, but if you think about it, when the moment he wrote that shit back then, he was a nobody.
That's right.
Right? That's right. But I'm going to add another part to that. Be a visionary on your business and be a visionary for your lifestyle. Mm. Because in my opinion, there's a lot of guys out there like a Steve Jobs, right? When you read their biography, I wouldn't trade that million for the lifestyle he had. Mm. Because he had a lifestyle that was basically a workaholic and fuck everything else.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I believe in having your cake and eat it. Vanilla and chocolate. Don't ask me to choose vanilla chocolate. Mm. I'm going to tell you, I want both. Mm-hmm. So be a visionary for business and be a visionary for lifestyle. Because what's the point having billions if you got nobody there to share with?
Exactly.
It's a lonely life.
Exactly. Absolutely. Well, Tatch, man, thank you so much for making the time. I know you're super busy. You'd probably be door knocking right now, so I'm taking away from your business. But I just want to say thank you again for coming on. And I mean, man, if you guys like the show, if you guys like this video, watching this on YouTube, hit the thumbs up. If you're listening to this podcast, drop a comment. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks again, Tatch. I really appreciate it.
All right, my brother. Thanks, you guys. Peace out. Have an awesome day.